Hi, today we're going to practice the Pythagorean theorem. You should have this worksheet in front of you. It starts off, do the following lengths form a right triangle. So what we need to do is plug the numbers in to the Pythagorean theorem and see if they work. So looking at this first one, 6, 8, and 9. Well, our Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Where A and B are the legs, that means A and B are the shorter sides. So I'm going to put 6 squared plus 8 squared equals, and then C is the hypotenuse, which is the longest side. So that's going to be 9 squared. Now I can solve. 6 squared is 36, 8 squared is 64, and 9 squared is 81, and let's find out if yes, indeed, these add up to 81. 36 plus 64 is 100, but we wanted it to be 81, so no, they're not equal. So no, this does not form a right triangle. Let's take a look at number 2. Same thing, I'm going to start with a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where A and B are the legs of the right triangle, which means they are the shorter sides. So 5 and 12. So 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. Let's find out if that works. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144. And 13 squared is 169. 25 plus 144 is 169. So yes, these three sides do make a right triangle. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try the next couple of these on your own. Feel free to pause the video. I'm not going to show you the answers to these, so you're trying these on your own. Then I will show you when we get down to, let's see what question. I will start again on question 7. So go ahead, you try 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Pause the video. Okay, so you should have tried 3, 4, 5, and 6 on your own. And now we're going to look at the rest of the questions. Same as before, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do some of them for you. Please make sure you are showing your work as we go through this. We need to find the missing length of each of these triangles. So they give us the two sides that are next to the 90-degree angle. That tells us that these are the two legs. So I can do 4 squared plus 8 squared equals, we don't know what, squared. 4 squared is 16, 8 squared is 64, and still it equals x squared. 16 plus 64 is 80 equals x squared. Now the way we get rid of that squared is by doing the square root on both sides of the equal sign. Now, there are two different types of answers that we might come across. Our directions say round to the nearest tenth, so we want a decimal. Sometimes it's going to say leave it in radical form or leave it in the exact answer. Well, the exact answer here is x equals the square root of 80, which then we learned a couple days ago or yesterday how to simplify a square root. So this one would simplify, let's see, to 16 times 5, which changes to 4 root 5. So this would be our radical form or our exact answer. But this worksheet tells us to round to the nearest tenth, which means that all you have to do is in your calculator type square root of 80. The square root symbol is right above the 7. Click enter. It gives me a long decimal. Well, I can just round that decimal to the nearest, it says tenth. That is 1 decimal place. So 8.9 is my final answer for question 7. Let's go ahead and do question 8. Again, it gives me the two sides that are next to the 90-degree angle. So I know that those are the two legs. So 6 squared plus 3 squared equals, we don't know what squared, I'll just use x. 6 squared is 36. 3 squared is 9. And it still just equals x squared. 36 plus 9 is 45. And that equals x squared. Well, we have to get rid of that squared symbol to get the x by itself. So we're going to take the square root on both sides. Now, again, if I wanted the exact answer, that would be the square root of 45. Simplify it if you can. But it's not asking for the simplified, it's not asking for the radical or the exact answer. It wants a decimal. So I'm just going to type in the calculator square root of 45, and that gives me the decimal 6.7. So my answer is 6.7. Okay, go ahead, pause as needed. Make sure you're showing your work. Go solve the rest of these questions. And I'm just looking through all the way until 14, and then I will help you with a couple 15 and 16. Go ahead, pause the video and try them. Okay, you should have already gotten through 14, and now I'm going to show you 15 and 16. Bell's going to ring in a second, but that's okay. These are slightly different because it does not show us the two numbers that are next to the 90-degree angle. So I have 3.6 squared plus I don't know what squared, and that equals our hypotenuse, 7.4 squared. Now I can subtract 3.6 squared on both sides of the equal sign because I'm trying to get x by itself. Now I'm going to type this in the calculator. 7.4 squared minus 3.6 squared is different than just 7.4 minus 3.6. So 7.4 squared minus 3.6 squared is 41.8. And to get rid of that squared symbol, I'm going to do the square root. Again, square root of 41.8 would be the exact answer, but it wants a decimal. So my decimal, when I typed square root of 41.8 into the calculator, is 6.5. And for the last one I'll show you is 16. Again, it does not show me both things next to the leg. So 3.9 squared plus, we don't know what because that's the other leg, equals 11 squared. Just a minute! Subtract 3.9 squared on both sides. So 11 squared minus 3.9 squared. X squared equals 105.79. And then we just have to take the square root of that. Square root of 105.79 is 10.3. So that is how you solve for missing leg or hypotenuse using Pythagorean theorem.